Hey there, Swamp Rabbits fans. It's time for another edition of the Bit Check, where we check in with all of your favorite Swamp Rabbits as we march on towards opening night, presented by Bon Secours on October 17th against the Utah Grizzlies. And now we are joined by another returning member of the end of last season's team, coming into his first full rookie season. Jack Brackett on the front lines joins us now on the Bit Check. A privilege to have you back in a Swamp Rabbit sweater, and a privilege to have some time as we gear up for training camp and then subsequently opening night. How's the summer been for you, and what's been going on in the life of Jack Brackett?
Yeah, just well, it's good to talk to you, Mark. Summer has been really great down here in up here in Northern Virginia, I guess from Greenville, but it's been really good. It's been going by really fast, and been just really trying to enjoy myself and work on my on ice game, get strong in the gym, and do all the things that I need to do to be ready for the season here on October 17th. So it's been really quick, but it's been a really productive summer.
I know just recently you were telling me you had a trip down to Dallas. Is there anything else off the ice that you did that was pretty fun this offseason?
For me, spend a lot of time on the water, you could say. That's, what I try to enjoy the most in the summer when the weather is warm. So I was up in Michigan on Lake Michigan, enjoying that and trying to get to the beaches in Delaware and Maryland, here close to Virginia. So whenever I can get some time on the water, that's what I love to do most.
Well, I'm glad you've been able to enjoy some time away, some time on the ice too, especially getting ready for your first full professional season. And I know a unique spot when you get your first taste of pro, you look to the future, where you want to go, what you want to do, and ultimately that's led you back here to the Upstate and to the Swamp Rabbits organization. So for the fans that haven't had a chance maybe to check in with you, what led to your decision to come back and trust this organization again for your first full professional campaign?
Yeah, it's a good question. For me, getting the experience I did down in Greenville this past spring, I really got to see the city and see the lifestyle of, what it's like to be a swamp rabbit. And for me, I think it was a pretty easy decision. I really enjoyed the day-to-day grind when I was down there, and I couldn't be looking forward to it more than I am, now going into my first full professional year. It's really just a great place to be, and I really think I can thrive and develop there. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Now let's rewind the clocks back a little bit to the first time that you signed with the Swamp Rabbits, which was obviously right out of college in RPI. And I'm sure there's a flurry of different things hockey-wise going on with respect to how your season ultimately ends, how you take that next step. So when your time with the Engineers came to a close, how exactly did the opportunity to come in Greenville work out for you?
Yeah, so we finished our season on a Friday, and that coming Tuesday, I got a phone call with an opportunity to get down to Greenville and play the next day. And for me, it was very unexpected to get the call, especially a place like Greenville. But it was something I kind of had in the back of my mind after the season ended, and Greenville was the first ones to reach out, and it was kind of a no brainer for me. I was like, let's do it. And it happened all so fast, leaving the day of our first game down in South Carolina versus the Stingrays. And, I didn't look back for the next month. Really enjoyed it.
Was there a moment in time during your stint at RPI, or even playing in junior in the NAHL, the USHL, even going as far back to the Powell River Kings in the BCHL? Was there a moment in your head where it just kind of clicked that, okay, maybe this is something I can do as a professional? And then you see that moment come to life that night on March 12th.
Yeah, I mean, something you always think about growing up for sure. And it all happened so fast, but I was really grateful to get down to Greenville and be able to play my first game. And, it was, I couldn't say better things about, like I said, the city itself and the organization. It's really a first class the way they treat the players down there.
Well, you picked a hell of a time to make your pro debut because it was in quite a hostile environment, a very tough customer in the Stingrays, as you had mentioned. So you check off pro debut off the list. First pro goal shortly after that gets checked off, and your goal made that as tight a game as it was going to be up until the empty netter kind of sealed it there. How in the heck did you take in that whirlwind moment of your debut where, okay, you hit the ice for the first time against a tough customer, and then you pot one within a period or two.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience, but I was just trying to really enjoy it all and put my best foot forward. And you only make your pro debut once, so I was trying to just like I said, just really work hard and enjoy the environment and everything that it was. So it was really great.
So I know in evaluation, you always look back to where you started, where you're at right now, where you want to be. And for you, it was 15 games with the Swamp Rabbits. You end up with 5 goals and 7 points. What did you learn about your game as you went from your debut and your first goal to your first home appearance to your first real road trip to the next checkpoint and the next checkpoint? What was that whole experience like now that you've had time to reflect on it?
Yeah, it was a lot for sure. Just understanding, how consistent you need to be on a daily basis at the pro level. Getting to play 15 games in a month down there, that's half a college season. So um, it's quick turnarounds and just understanding how you need to take care of the body and mentally just be focused for each game is extremely important. And I was lucky enough to be around a lot of older guys and players who really take care of themselves, and you see why they're such good players every night. So I was just trying to follow suit.
6 of your 7 points came across 3 multi-point performances. Probably the biggest one for you was the exclamation point of an end of a season that this team had. It comes full circle for you. You make your pro debut against the Stingrays. You end the season against the Stingrays. You stick both daggers into the ECHL regular season champion, including the game winner with about 2.5 minutes to go. What was it like to see the journey of your first foray into the pros come to an end, especially the way it did, where you were one heck of an X factor in the game?
Yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun, to say the least. And I remember talking with some of the guys down there, just wishing that I could have stayed down there a little longer, because we were having fun playing hockey. The weather was warm, and it was a treat to be down there. So it was a great experience, and I really can't be more happy to be down there the next month.
Now, obviously, that's got to be part of the top tier of coolest hockey experiences you've had. So you get 2 goals in a massive upset. You end the ECHL regular season champion's 17-game win streak. But then the next morning, you get a shout out from one of the coolest sports personalities around. Did you have Jon Gruden saying your name in a Barstool Sports video on your bingo list throughout this whole experience?
Definitely not my bingo card at all. It was pretty cool to see. I'm honestly a pretty big football fan, and was already a fan of Jon Gruden, and especially what he's done on Barstool. I think he's great personality, and to see that video, that shout out, not only for me but for the Swamp Rabbits was very cool.
So it was awesome the day that same day, that same game day, he did his gear unboxing and opened up a whole bunch of swag, a personalized jersey. The next morning, we had no clue what was going to happen. You had told me that your phone kind of blew up after that. I mean, did just anybody and everybody that had your number or had a way to get a hold of you basically hit you up?
Yeah, a little bit for sure. You know, just how much I follow football, and a lot of my friends do. They were pretty stoked to see that shout out from Gruden, because like I said, he's an unbelievable personality. He's one of one. So it was very cool to see that.
Jack Brackett, give him a gold jacket. How about that? So that starts off your off season. You've obviously put a lot of time on the ice and off the ice and are preparing to get ready for this upcoming season. New head coach in Chad Costello, a couple of new teammates, a lot of returning ones as well. So what's your pulse of what you're about to experience coming back here for training camp in a couple of weeks here now, and then subsequently opening night on October 17th? Where's your head and your heart at right now as you get ready?
Yeah, I mean, for me, just the excitement to get down to Greenville is very high, and to really just get the season rolling. Really trying to make the days count until then. But from talking to Coach Costello and seeing the players that he's brought back, and even the new players, it's really exciting. That you just would really want to get down there and get going with the guys, because I think we're going to have a really, really great group, and I think it's going to be one hell of a season.
Is there anything in particular that you wanted to hone on in your off-season training, getting ready for this? Because I'm always fascinated where you come from a rookie who hasn't had pro experience to a rookie that has in yourself to a 10-year veteran. Everybody's approach to getting ready for training camp is different. So is there what was your approach to your off-ice, on-ice training, if I can ask that?
Nothing really in particular. I think it's really important to work on all facets on and off the ice. So I think for me, just touching up, off ice training and then getting on the ice and being able to work on pretty much everything is really important. So nothing too in particular, but yeah, for me, it's just been trying to really overall improve the game and hone in on everything.
I haven't checked the GPS to see how close Northern Virginia is to Johnstown, Pennsylvania, but you know by now that the team's going to spend some training camp and play a preseason game up at First Summit Arena at Cambria War Memorial, up in Johnstown, one of the most historic hockey venues in the United States. How awesome an experience coming in your first full pro season is that to really kick things off?
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. Johnstown's a couple hours from here. It's not too far, and I was lucky enough to play a little bit of junior there. Not for Johnstown, but as an away opponent. But really looking forward to it. It's gonna be really enjoyable, and can't come soon enough.
And the last thought for you here, Jack, where do you personally and where does this team overall go from here? You've mentioned there's so much hype with your teammates, with yourself, preparing, getting ready for this season. When you get here for your first report date and your first full official day of training camp, where does this team go and where does Jack Brackett go?
Yeah, I think for us, just really focusing on having a strong training camp together. I think that's a really going to be important for us. And then, the first 2-3 weeks of the season, I think just focusing on that, not looking too far ahead, but trying to do as much as we can in the beginning and getting off to a good start is going to be important for us.
Very well said, my friend. Thank you so much for the time, Jack. It's great to have you back in the Swamp Rabbit sweater. And before you know it, you'll be here for day one of training camp.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That'll do it for our latest edition of the Bit Check, where we check in with all of your favorite Swamp Rabbits as we gear up for opening night presented by Bon Secours on October 17th. Stick around on swamprabbits.com and our social media platforms as we continue to check in with some more of Jack's teammates.